Hey guys, I've got some really big news. I saw a note on my door from the electric company, and they said that they were doing some tree trimming in our area. And if I needed anything to call them, so I did, because I need some wood chips. Now the reason I need wood chips is for the Back to Eden method of gardening. And that's probably why you clicked on this video, is because you saw the title, Why It Doesn't Work. And I just wanted to say it does work. But this video is about why it doesn't work, and I don't want that to be confusing, because some people think that after watching the Back to Eden documentary that you can just take some wood chips and throw it on your garden and all the weeds go away and everything's perfect next year. And that's just not true. I think the documentary was very vague in some points, and I think it just didn't do a good job of explaining it really at all. Now, with that being said, let me say that I am a big Paul Gauche fan. I love his work, the things that he's doing, him as a person. I really like Paul Gauche and Back to Eden. I even went so far as to write him a letter. I wrote him a handwritten letter and sent him a pack of seeds, just saying that I really like what he was doing and thank you for sharing this with the world. He wrote me back a handwritten letter. I've got it in my in the house. He wrote me back a handwritten letter, took the time, because you know he gets a lot of traffic from all this, but just a really good man, and I really appreciate him. And I'm going to explain kind of what I mean by this whole video. Oh, so the myth is that in the documentary it almost made it seem like wood chips were the solution for everything and they just work instantly. That you can just put newspaper down, throw out wood chips, plant some stuff right then, and it'd be wonderful. And you can get some good results in that way somehow if you don't plant into the wood chips and you plant into the ground. And there's a lot of details like that do make it work. But overall, it's not that quick. And it takes time, and it takes a little bit of knowing what wood chips really mean. So on the documentary, you see Paul Gauche on his property under his apple trees and such. Raking up this beautiful kind of soil, dirt, soil, wood chip mix, and it's beautiful, and it's decomposed, and it's wonderful. And that stuff's great. But what in actuality you get when you get wood chips might look something like this. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Alright, this is what a tree service will bring to you if you get wood chips. And what it is limbs, leaves, pine needles, branches, things that they've trimmed off of trees. They'll chip that up and then bring it to you. So it's got a lot of good greens and browns, and this will sit there over the winter, you know, the fall, the winter, the spring. It'll decompose, and whenever it's ready and decomposed, then I can use it in my garden as a mulch layer. And as a way to start new beds. But if I tried to put this stuff, directly on the ground, no bueno. Another egg. Another type of wood chip that you might run into is what I've gotten before from the dump. I went to the local dump and said, hey, I want some wood chips, and they are totally free. But what you get is big, chunky wooden chips. And pieces of broken up, chipped up pallets. And this is okay too, but it takes even longer to decompose, and you definitely cannot put that right on your garden or you'll have some big issues. Did y'all see that bee? In the winter last year, I don't know, October or something, my father and I had got some wood chips, and we put down about 3 or 4 layers of newspaper in this shape to block out the grass and kind of kill off the grass. And on top of that, we put some just raw wood chips. Okay, raw wood chips. Now what this did, as you can see, here where the asparagus bed is starting to develop, is it's still really wood chippy. They didn't compose, and it's taking a good while. And this, I haven't done anything else to this bed except for just throw wood chips on it and plant asparagus. So it is very slow, and it's going to take a while to develop, but that's okay because I've got these asparagus here for like 15 years. So year 2 is next year, like next spring will be year 2, and we'll continue to cultivate and work on the soil. And then year 3 we'll probably start eating this stuff, so it's pretty cool. On down from that is this bed. Now what I've done here is, same as that, it was just wood chips, but I've cultivated it a few times, and what I'm doing is, every time I have extra potting soil, extra compost, extra wood ashes, extra DE or sand or whatever, I'll just come out and sprinkle it a little bit with whatever, and I've kind of been adding to it, kind of like a big soup. And this soil is looking a lot better, but not quite perfect yet. This is an example of a bed that was started off with just basic dirt, I guess, and we've added compost to it. We topped it with wood chips and let the wood chips rot on top of it for about 2 years. And we've been cultivating it and working with it and adding stuff to it, and as you can see, it's breaking down to a really good spot where we need it. Of course, this bed's dry because we're getting ready to plant for fall, but it just goes to show you that it takes time, and it's not going to be as easy as just throwing out wood chips. Another thing to note right here is that people think that it's weed free, but really the weeds still come in. They're just easier to pull out, and there's a whole lot less of them. So to get right to the point, and the basic point of this video is, why doesn't the Back to Eden garden method work most times? It's because we don't take enough precaution in letting the wood chips decompose to the right stage. And what really happens there is, when you do plant stuff into them, the wood chips are taking up so much nitrogen to be able to really decompose and do their thing, that it takes away from the plants, and they just don't do as well. So make sure to get some wood chips on your property in big mounds if you can, like I've got, and let them decompose. Let them sit there for, I'll probably let that sit there for 3 seasons, maybe 4 seasons, until I can just feel that it is just really decomposed and doing really well for the garden. So I'm going to encourage you at the end of this video, I'm going to encourage you to go out there and watch the Back to Eden documentary again, if you've already watched it, or if you haven't watched it, look up Back to Eden documentary and go on to Paul Gauche's website and watch that documentary for free, and see what you think about it, and see if you think that he's onto something, and if I'm onto something. And I really encourage it as a way to start off beds, or as a way to properly use a good mulch layer.